All right, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Thursday morning Inner Circle Live session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody is doing well today. Let's get to it, man. As always, let's turn off all distractions, grab a pen and paper for notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. All right. Some tech issues this morning. I apologize for the delay, but let's get to it. Fundamentally, we'll dive into those. Then we'll walk through some pairs and see what's happening. And like we talked about yesterday, Benny mentioned going down to the 5-minute time frame. We'll go down and we'll take a look at some of those. Been doing some studies on some of those lower time frames. We got some folks that get down on some of those levels. So we'll take a look at them and just do some review from a 5-minute time frame perspective after we get through some of the pairs. So if you guys can hear me okay, drop me a one in the chat, please. Hey, sweet. Let's do this. Trading economics, we go. And there we go. All right. So Eurozone inflation rate unexpectedly stabilizes at 5.3%. Eurozone inflation stayed at 5.3 in August, more than 2.5 times above the ECB goal and market consensus of 5.1. Preliminary estimate showed energy prices decreased at a slower pace, and food and services inflation slowed only slightly. Meanwhile, the core inflation rate cooled as expected to 5.3 from 5.5 in July. So above expectation on the overall inflation, however, cooling on the core inflation side, right? So interesting to see inflation is still moving up overall. So it still puts the ball in the ECB's court on likely another interest rate hike coming next month, right? You had French inflation higher than expected. European shares slightly higher on Thursday. As Investors Digest data indicating that inflation rate in the euro area remained steady at 5.3 in August, defying market expectations of a slowdown of 5.1. Meanwhile, the core 5.3, down from 5.5, a development that could complicate the situation for the ECB policymakers. So it'll be interesting to see how things go there out of the Eurozone. Then you had jobless rate, Eurozone jobless rate holds steady at a record low, 6.4%, right? So still a tight labor market. So there's back and forth happening. We'll see how the ECB takes that. Then we had China manufacturing sinks less than expected. So a little uptick in China. All right. So that's it from trading economics. Over to the calendar on today. All right, here's those CPI data that came in. We also had retail sales for the Swissy came in below and quite a bit below expectation there at 2:30 this morning. So that's a number that we will see how that impacted the charts. We'll take a look at those Swissy pairs this morning. And then there's your French PMI numbers. Later on today, we have monetary policy meeting accounts, so meeting minutes for the ECB. Then we'll have PCE data for the United States and unemployment claims, all right? And then tonight, final manufacturing PMI for the yen. So got some things coming out today that again could give us some movements. But all eyes on tomorrow. Right, we got CPI coming out of the Swissy tomorrow, and we got data for the dollar regular cycle coming through. So that's it from a fundamental perspective. Any questions? No. Okay, cool deal. Give me 1 second, everybody. All right, my bad there. Let's hop over to the charts and let's see what's happening there. So let's slide over. Boom. So DXY, start there first. So DXY, we our retracement here on the 4, right? Pulling back. Boom. All right. Getting a bit of a pullback now, right? A bit of a retracement after the strong push to the downside. We'll see how deep that pullback comes and then see if we get another leg to the downside here, either later on today or into tomorrow. But pulling back a bit right now off of that retracement down to that 50% level. So let's see how this goes, right? See if we get some action like this, and then into tomorrow, see if we get another leg to the downside to push us into, right, that right tip of that crown that we've been talking about for a couple of days, right? You got a smaller one here. Jeremy pointed out yesterday, right? Then on the from a larger perspective here, right? So the CPI data will give us a good indication. If we get this pushed down, right, this support level will be key for us in that move to the upside, right? So we'll watch both of those and see how things move for the rest of the weekend into the beginning of next week, right? So that is the DXY there. That's what I'm looking at as a potential movement for this. So in those dollar pairs, we get some pullbacks and then potentially some continuations to the upside there. All right. So that is the DXY. I want to look at the Swissy crosses here. They're starting to get some movement, right? The data's starting to shift a bit coming out of Switzerland. So, right, that Aussie Swiss that we've been into to the upside, here we're on the daily time frame, we see trying to get a push to the upside, right? It's slow motion, but it's trying to get there. Then come down to the 4. Here's our 80-20 that we've been tracking this off of, right? It got the shift, and you see slowly trying to make that move to the upside there, right? Still got to break this level here at 57,100, but trying to get there. So with the dollar retracing today, we might see some stalling again into tomorrow. But tomorrow's data give us a good indication in one direction or the other, right? So if that if those non-farm payroll numbers come in above or below expectation, right? We could then see, right, a sentiment shift and investors looking at a pause and start pricing that in, right? If they start pricing that in, you'll see those commodities start to move. You can see the Aussie, New Zealand, oil, things like that really start to push to the upside, which would give this the catalyst, right, to move to that 382 level and potentially higher. All right. So, and then that DXY obviously in the opposite direction, pushing down into that right tip of the crown. So that's the 1 hour on the Aussie Swiss coming down to the one. I'm sorry, that's the 4 hour coming down to the one. We're pushing into that 618 retracement zone here, right? And we're just stalling a bit. So we'll see what happens tomorrow and see if we get this to continue higher and ultimately get to a point where we take out that A, okay? We take out the A. That's at 382 on the 4 hour there. Okay, so that's the Aussie Swiss moving in our favor, right? Slowly taking its time, but it's getting there, getting there. Any questions on the Aussie Swiss? Oh, okay. Sure. Cool deal. And let's go to the CAD Swiss. All right, we looked at it yesterday, still lingering, but you see we got a little bounce off of that support level again. All right, got a little bounce off that support level. So trying to get there now, trying to get there, trying to get that upward motion happening. Here on the 4, zoom this all the way back. There we go. Right. So that's our 80-20, pushed off that lower level. We pushed into that trend line that we ran yesterday. Now let's see if we might get another pullback off of this, but see if we can finally get a catalyst to give us a strong break of that trend line. Looking at the cloud, we still don't have all of the confirmations on the cloud yet, right? Bearish cloud trying to break it, right? And we don't have our TK crossover yet either, right? So still waiting here, still lingering. You see at the top of the cloud there pressing sideways. So let's see going into tomorrow. Again, if we get the data to align, see if we get a nice bullish push here, right? To give us that break and then that continuation to the upside. All right. Coming down to the 1, you see, right, there was that push with that data this morning, right? So now we're getting a pullback here. So on the 1 hour time frame, we did get that cloud break, nice bullish push of the cloud, and we got things to align with the bullish cloud ahead, and our TK crossover occurred there. Okay, so now on the 1 hour, this is where you're tracking your cloud movement, right? Look for a pullback. On that 4 hour, see a pullback below the cloud, and then see if we get that bounce, something like that. All right, so 1 hour was starting to come into alignment for us, right? Now, if we get that movement on the 4, that'll really set us up for potentially this thing to start moving to the upside. Okay, and then with that Swiss data coming in tomorrow as well, it could also be the catalyst for us. Okay, questions on the CAD Swiss? Oh. All right, sweet. Now to this Swiss yen. This one is an interesting one. Coming all the way back to the monthly. So it looks like we're a ways away from that monthly D extension. It's about 1,000 pips, but realistically, we're not too far, right? So what this data, right, the softer data for the Swissy could be, right, it could just initiate a short-term pullback to retest these levels that we just broke through, right? So pushing to the upside now, coming down to the weekly here we are here. We still don't have a swing high to track off of, but if we do get this pullback to come back to retest some of these resistance levels here, if we get this small pullback, that could give us the swing high to give us a new fib on the weekly, right? And if we get something like this, that 118, 127 zone comes in direct alignment with that monthly D extension, right? So we'll be looking at the pullback and then a shallow retracement here and a continuation to the upside. Okay, so that's the action that I'm looking for on the Swiss yen. All right. So coming down to the daily now, right? Here's that daily support level. And this is the action that I'm looking for, right? We just missed the D extension there. We got a strong break of this daily resistance level. Okay. So strong break of the resistance level, looking for retest here. And then a continuation long, hitting that daily D extension and making its way to that 118, 127 zone on the weekly and pushing up into this monthly D extension, right? Because again, nothing has changed yet for the yen, so I don't see this as a yen strength thing. I see this as softer data for the Swissy, and that's it, right? So that's what I'm looking at technically and fundamentally. So coming down to the 4, we're pushing down, right? We might break that B boundary and come down, but just coming back down to this 163,924 level, right? We're testing the cloud here now. We might get that break, but what I'm looking for is that retest here. And as long as this level or this zone holds, as long as the zone holds, I'm going to be looking for a buying opportunity, right? And take this to the upside. Okay. We'll take that up because I don't know that this 80-20 will come into play either on the 4-hour. It's just my thought, right? Understanding what hasn't happened in Japan, right? So looking for a push down and then looking to see if price gives us a move back up, right? We'll hit that daily D extension. I think we'll hit the 4-hour D extension, and then looking at some of these higher prices on the higher time frames, weekly and monthly levels, right? So we'll see though, right? If this level doesn't hold, then we could see that deeper retracement come and then see it flip, which would be cool too, right? It'll be fine. But that's what I'm looking for here, right? If we get that break, then we'll look for a low price 618, 50%, 618,786 level, right? 4-hour support here, and then look for price to flip and push to the upside, right? So that's the 4 on the Swiss yen, right? Coming down to the 1. We got a break of the cloud on the 1, right? And we see price pushing down. But again, if we don't break this daily level, right, I don't see us getting to these lower retracement levels. So we'll see what happens here at the B boundary on the 1-hour time frame, right? So coming down, probably get a pullback and retest that cloud, but then continuation to the downside here, at least to that 164,060 level. All right. Those are my thoughts on the Swiss yen. Questions? What do you guys think here? No thoughts? I'm scared. Yeah. But I'm looking for a low price, man. Yeah, I want to see it push it down. So, yeah, me too. Looking for that low price to then have that opportunity to get back long. So we shall see how it moves. Benny, good morning, bro.
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. How are you, sir?
Doing well, man. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good, man.
Good, dude.
I got a teenager in middle school now.
Ooh.
twins in the fourth grade. They start at different times, and my wife is in the OR this morning. So
Oh
it's
man.
so
Yeah, you on the
so
go, man.
she had to get to the she saved me the first 2 days this week. She had to be at work at the OR early this morning. So I,
Ooh-wee.
I'm out here on this island.
Yeah. Yeah. Good luck, man. We'll pray for you, man.
Thank God for wives.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
Uh,
goodness.
good deal, man. What are your thoughts on the Swiss yen? Had some soft data come in on retail sales early this morning. We got some data, that CPI data coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we may be due for some relief
You think
here
we get a
soon.
deeper retracement on it?
I think so. I think there's going to be some profit taken here coming to the beginning of the month. I don't know how deep the correction will be, but that's pretty exhaustive.
Man.
You can see how it's just moving sideways.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy August to say the least with some of the price action, but you know, I know it typically slows down, but kind of just things just been bouncing all over the place. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think we may be in for because I was able to peek this morning. I saw from the higher time frame on like the euro yen, I saw it started to correct. So maybe it's
Yeah.
time on some of these yens to make at least a small correction.
Yeah.
And I'm talking small in the grand scheme of things, or the overall move that's been definitely bullish. You know what I mean? So even a small correction could be, I guess, pretty sizable in regards to pips.
Yeah, for sure.
So
So you
we'll
think
continue
on
to
the
watch.
four, you think we get at least a 382 on it?
Could man
Good.
continue to watch some of this data, and I mean we got non-farm coming on Friday,
Yeah.
so it's a little bit. It's a tough call right now, so just kind of remain impatient. But we could.
Yeah. Yeah. We shall see, man. We shall see. We shall see. Cool deal. Appreciate you, man. Um, so that's where we are in the Swiss yen. We'll see what happens, right? We'll see if that holds or if we get a break and a push deeper, giving us that low price to then, like I said, get back long, making our way to that monthly D extension. All right. So let's keep moving. Euro Swissy. This one is a little back and forth, right? Because we got the back and forth data coming out of Europe, but we also got the softer data out of Switzerland. So that we got to push yesterday off the low, and we're getting a bit of a pullback now. See if we retest this consolidation that we broke out of, right? See if we retest that and then get another push to the upside there. Hold on one second. So yeah, let's see what happens there on that retracement. Coming down to the 4, right? We've been tracking this 80-20 scenario, right? Here's that pullback, retesting that level, and see if we then get price to turn back over, push back to the upside, continue making our way to that 382 at 97.061. All right, so starting to move out of the zone. Now we just need some continuation and a catalyst, which we'll see if we get tomorrow. All right. And then here on the 1, here's the look. Let's come all the way back. There we go. All right. I'll take the cloud off for a second, just to see the price action. Right. And you see indecision there. Right. But pulling back, and let's run a sub fib off the low here to see where it sits. Boom. All right. So previous consolidation here sits right in that 50, 61.8, 786 zone. Right. So we'll see if we get some action like this. And look for a low price. Continue moving back to the upside. Right. So if you're not in this, right, this might be an opportunity for you. Boom. if we get price to push down into the zone. Okay. And then look for move to the upside like so. All right. Boom. So that's the scenario there on the 1 hour time frame on the Euro Swissy. 30 pips, 78. It's all 2 to 1, 2.5 to 1. Questions on the Euro Swiss?
No.
All right, cool deal. Cool deal. Cool deal. All right. And we'll take a look at that Euro yen Benny was talking about on the retracement. So we pushed up into, all right, the daily resistance level. We hit that monthly D extension. We talked about it last night. All right, pushed into the zone. Now we're getting a bit of a reaction there. All right. So we'll see if we get a pullback here and then continuation. On the weekly, we have this 118 and 127 zone sitting here in this zone, 165 and 170. We got a monthly resistance at 170, 169. So we'll see how this goes, right? We come back and retest this 151 level first and then get the bounce and push, right? Or is this a smaller retracement and then push to the upside? We'll see what happens with the yen. So now coming back to that daily, right? There's that push and we're pulling back now. Support at 156, 833. All right. If we get that, just that level is 176 pips. And then we'll see if we turn back over and push to the upside. Okay. Coming to the 4. Here's an 80-20 on the 4. Right. So it's a question of how deep does the retracement go? Whoops, didn't pop in yet. Let's see. There we go. All right. So let's see what happens. See if we stay in this range here, right? Push down to the support and then push up, right? Or if we break that support level and head lower. Okay, so we'll watch that and see what happens there. But that's the 80-20 on the 4 coming down to the 1. Almost a double top scenario there, and we're pushing back down. So we'll see how deep that retracement comes. Okay. I already got 786 retracement, so the matching the extension on the 1 is there. So if we push back down to the 618 retracement zone, it might be another opportunity to enter this and move to the upside. Okay. Hold on one second, everybody. So yeah, so we'll see how deep this retracement comes here on the 1, right? It might give us another opportunity down here at the 618 retracement level and get back long on this euro again. So we'll watch that and see how that one moves. Questions here. That might give us Benny those that missed that opportunity long, right? This low price here might give us a second opportunity on it. We might get a chance to capture some of this move back to the upside. All right.
Hey, Ryan.
Yes, sir.
We got a classic reset up on the S&P on the 30-minute 80-20 scenario setting up. Yeah.
Let's hop over, take a look at it. On the 5, we got 80-20 here on the euro yen too. So we'll see if we get a retracement pullback here. So day trade opportunity there on the 5 on the euro yen, right? Stalling there. See if we're to pop and push back to the upside before we continue down. Okay. So that's the euro yen. That might be an opportunity for us on the 5-day trade. Let's take a look at the S&P. We'll come back to the NASDAQ. We got an 80-20 on the NASDAQ as well. SPX. Let's come back. See where we sit. Interesting. Let's pull the cloud off. Let's mark this up real quick. Daily time frame. We'll go back to the weekly. Give us a little bit more data there. All right. So that's where that weekly level comes in at there. Also got a weekly resistance. We'll do this. All right. Weekly resistance level here. Boom. Right there. And we got support coming in. This could likely be a support level, not quite yet though. We'll see how the week closes. But support level here. Okay. Now down to the daily amount. On the daily, still in that 80-20 scenario, right? Pushing back to the upside. Shallow retracement, 118 to 127 zone. Pull back, push up. So let's do this. Coming into some daily resistance also. Play into the move that Benny is talking about, which is an alignment, right? We looked at the DXY. DXY is pulling back. DXY pulls back, like the stock market goes in the opposite direction, right? So it all makes sense and it all comes together. So there we go on the daily time frame. Let's go down to the 4. All right. I'll run a fib off the low just to see where it is. On the 4, we got a 382, and we're pushing to the upside. All right, cool. Come out. There. Oops. There. Boom. All right, so that's on the 4. So we're running to a daily resistance level there. We got daily support there at 44.90. Okay. Now let's come down to the 1. See what we get. We'll do it. We'll 1 hour support and resistance, and then we'll drop down to lower time frames and see what they have in store. Boom. Okay. Turn these off. There we go. There's our support resistance weekly through the 1 hour. Now let's run the fib off the low. As price is pushing to the upside here. So boom. Just shy of the 118, 127 zone on the 1 hour time frame, right? Stalling, getting that push sideways, right? In our consolidation zone there. Okay. So now we come down to that 30-minute, and there it is, right? Shallow retracement, 118 and 127 zone. Let's see if we get this pullback. And give us a low price, come back down, 4 hour support. And then see if we get back long. when it's a tomorrow. All right. So this is what that setup looks like here. Boom. Like so. All right. So we got 50 or 100, almost a little more than 2 to 1. Less than yeah, a little less than 2 to 1. So there we are there. S&P 500 opportunity to the downside here. Day trade opportunity. Questions here?
Nope.
Oh, all right. Cool deal. Let's see. Da, 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 da. $45.79. Cool deal. Let's see. Where we are on the cloud on this. Pressing sideways right now into it. Gotcha. All right, so we're good there. Let's take a look at the. Let's go back to that NASDAQ. Here's the 80-20 right there on the NASDAQ shallow retracement 118 127 zone on 30-minute. Let's bounce back and take a look at it from a higher time frame perspective and work our way back down. So, excuse me. Hovering here, daily resistance, daily support. From a fib perspective on the daily, we're looking at, right, we got that 786 retracement. We're pushing to the upside. Long push here. See if we get a pullback and then a continuation long. Coming down to the 4. There we go. Pull the cloud off. All right, that's the setup that we're currently playing, right? Top side. Moving pretty good. Strong pushes, pull back, and see if we get a continuation there. All right. Got a 4-hour support level coming in right here. And another here. All right. Down to the 1. And here's where the fib gets twisted a bit. All right. That push down took it out. So it'll come to the low. Boom. Nope, that one got taken out too. There we go. All right. And that's where we sit. Sub fibs running to the upside off the C. Retracement potentially. Coming back down to retest the consolidation that we broke out of. And then a continuation. Right? Wave by wave, we can play this thing to its destination if you choose to. All right? Down on the 30. Similar scenario. All right? Putting us in the same spot. Okay. Questions on NASDAQ?
Nope.
And there's your 5-minute similar scenario. Okay. All right. Cool deal. We looked at that euro yen on the 5-minute, right? 80-20 scenario there. Okay. There was Euro CAD is another, right? Looking at some of these smaller plays, smaller opportunities. We know that overall this has been pushing to the upside, right? But we've been trapped in this range a bit, right? Came into the top of the range and you see this push down. Okay. Coming to the one. There's that push back down to the downside off the top of the range. We come into the 5-minute time frame, look at it from a smaller perspective. This is what we had. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, right? Push sideways, pushed back into the zone, breakdown, right? So there's an 80-20 on the lower time frame, 5-minute opportunity, played out pretty quickly once it got going. Okay. So with these, one of the things I've been looking at is for those that don't like the wider stop losses, how to place a stop loss. So when I drew this one up, I originally placed a stop loss just above the cloud, right? And you see we got, in this one, price actually pushed sideways out of the cloud. So it wasn't a strong break, right? And we pushed down there, came back above, right? So this one, that original drawing, right, just looking at it and testing, right above the cloud got taken out, but we also had a level of resistance here. So still, even in some of my just preliminary testing, still favoring the wider stop loss, right? Placing it outside the D extension and then allowing price to do what it's going to do within that to take price to that destination. You guys follow what I'm saying there? So that's what I'm testing. That's what I'm looking at, is stop loss placement for those that don't like the wider stop losses. Where could you place that? But that's what I'm seeing in the short term, is still keeping that stop loss wide. All right. Questions on that? Nope. All right. Cool deal. So that's the Euro CAD. Looked at the Euro Yen. Then what was the other one I was looking at? Was it pound yen? I think it was the pound yen. Let me see. I think it was the pound yen. Take that off from here to the low. Yeah. Right. Here we just missed the 382 there, right? Push to the upside, 118 to 127 zone, and then we turned over in a big way. Right. So we talk about back testing and building the confidence, right? Going back and walking through each of these to see how they played out and when they played out, right? Just mapping the fibs out, taking a look at it and watching how price moves, right? We, like I said, we just missed the 382 there, pushed into the zone, didn't get to the D extension, and we got the turnover there, right? So if you took it inside the zone there, that's what your stop loss would have been. All right. And your risk to reward looks like this. Right. Boom. And you see how it went. Whoops. See how it went. Right. Then we took out the A. So now you flip the fib and you map them the other way. All right. That one hit the D extension. Once a new fib forms, see how it plays out. All right. Let's walk it through step by step by step. All right. So that was the pound yen. That one's pushing back down to the downside as well. We'll see if we get a retracement on this one from a higher time frame perspective. We'll see what happens at that previous daily level. I had some others. Oh. What was the other one that I was looking at? My bad, everybody. I didn't write it down this morning. This pound Aussie, let's look at this one. Not from a 5-minute perspective, but just where it sits and what's happening. So we know we got that move to the downside. We came into that zone that we're watching, and you see we got that little bump there, right? Has some of that Aussie data come out, and we'll see what happens as we move through the day. But we're starting to get this retracement that we talked about, potentially getting a retracement before continuation down. So you see that's what's kind of developing here. We had consolidation, push down, push back up, took out that previous high. We're pulling back, see if we get another push to the upside there. So what that looks like on the one is this 80-20 scenario here, right? So we push down into the 118 and 127 zone. We're pulling back to retest the cloud after the cloud break here, right? So we could be in for a retracement at least through today into tomorrow, right? And see if we get a high price to then get back short. Okay. So that's what I'm looking for on this one. Okay, we're pulling back now, but we could see this run up in the short term and come back into our zone here. Okay, so let's see if we can get price to come back in this area. For those that may not have had a chance to get in this to the downside, you might get a second opportunity if we get this type of action. And then we'll see if we get that move back down. So, okay, so for those that are looking at that 80-20 scenario, definitely play that to the upside first. Like so. Okay. So check it out, watch it. If it fits your rules, that might be an opportunity to get to a high price. But if you're just waiting, just wait. All right. But there it is there. Move there. Questions on the pound Aussie?
Nope.
Nope.
Cool deal. Cool deal. Cool deal. Cool deal. There it was. On that move back down. All right. 5-minute time frame. Shallow retracement, 118 and 127 zone. Didn't get to the D extension. Breakdown. Right. And as we just scroll back and just look here, shallow retracement, 118 and 127 zone, breakdown. 5-minute time frame, same thing. Right. So with all these, we can just map the fibs on whatever time frame we want to look at and go step by step. Right. Pound cat, we know overall we're long on it, right? So we'll come back to the 5-minute time frame, come to our low. And we'll map it off of here, even though these get taken out just for testing purposes, right? So here, shallow retracement, 118 and 127 zone, played out in our favor. Here, this one didn't, shallow retracement, and just continued rising, but ran into that weekly resistance level, right? AB boundary, pullback, took out the A. Run it again. All right, deep retracement, continue up. This one didn't play out to the 382. You did get a nice retracement out of the zone, right? But didn't get to your 382. All right. Then we come here, AB boundary, retracement, wouldn't have taken that trade. AB boundary, 382, wouldn't have taken that trade. Then we got a deeper push, right? Come here to the AB boundary, push down. And then we get that reversal to the downside, right? And this is walking through the process of back testing, right? And what this looks like as you're trying to figure out what time frame you want to trade on, type of trader you want to be, those types of things. This is how you do it, right? Along with your demos in the live action, right? You can walk back through and identify the opportunities to see how it played out. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, boom, got to your 382. All right, next fib, shallow retracement, push down into the 118, 127 zone, boom. All right, and in doing this, you can track the data. How many fibs on the time frame played out with the particular rules that you're looking at, right? Here I'm looking at 80/20s, at least back to the 382, right? And you can walk through step by step. Say, okay, 20 out of 40 fibs played out on this time frame, right? And you can do this with every single pair to get an understanding of what the strike rate for 80/20s on that particular time frame are, right? And you just walk through fib by fib, right? It also helps you to build the confidence. You hear Benny talk about all the time, building the confidence in the scenario, right? Along with, in that demo account, taking those live trades. Okay, so now we come here, 5-minute pound cash, shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, breakdown. To be honest with you, the data comes out. I'm walking through the lower time frames now. We've done. Benny and I go back every year to the beginning of the year when we walk through. We've done 4 hour, 1 hour, and the data comes out pretty close to the same. It's around 77, 78.5% on those time frames. Right. So doing the data on the 5-minute time frames now, just doing some testing and some back testing. So we'll see if the data comes out the same. But my initial assumption is the data will come out to about the same, right, overall. And just looking at it here, we're at around 50, 60%. And that's just going through a couple days. So I think more data will give us same opportunity. So yeah, it is when we say it plays out the same, it literally plays out the same. It's more about going back through and building your confidence in that particular time frame and the opportunity and how to see it, right? So I'll let you know though. I'll let you know. But yeah, like we've tested this thing. We've tested this thing in multiple scenarios. We've tested the thing in multiple markets, times a year, months, all of that. And the data comes back the same, right? When people talk about the market slowing down, yeah, it might move a little slower. However, the waves still move the same. The waves still move the same. So, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So any questions on anything that we covered this morning? You're welcome.
No.
Cool deal. Benny, you got anything before we wrap it up, bro?
Absolutely nothing following that. Appreciate you.
No doubt. Appreciate you. Good people. We'll keep in touch with you about this evening. We might have to cancel the session. We'll let you know later on today. But until then, you guys have a phenomenal day. Stay patient, stay patient, stay patient. Find your 1% today, and let's make it a great one. Have an awesome day, everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome.